So I'm currently up to my armpits in aluminium mandrel bends, folks. I'm in the process of building the new 2.5 inch intercooler piping and intake piping. Not an easy feat by any means. The clearances that are available in the vehicle to do this are very tight, and you know, it's a very time consuming task at the best of times. You can see this piece, for example, here that I've just done. This is one of the sort of side pieces. Just getting all the angles right and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's probably, geez, I don't know, I reckon that's probably taken me like 6 hours or something just to get that piece set up so that it's ready to just tack weld, you know. It's some pieces are obviously quicker than others, but some pieces are really, really tricky. So I'll give you a demo where this piece goes, folks. So it goes down into the side of the intercooler on the front there. So it sort of goes down and around and sort of in there, and as I say, that runs from the intercooler down the bottom and goes up to the outlet on the turbo up the back there. But just to get all those angles right so that, you know, you don't hit anything, because as I just said, there's very little sort of clearance on all that sort of stuff. That gives you a little bit more of an idea, folks. This is the passenger side, and you know, it's in various stages at the moment. You can see some welds are completely done, some are tacks, some pieces are held together with tape, just like we have up there, just to be able to sort of fit it all in together. And a lot of stuff has to be reassembled to make sure that you're not taking up the space of something else. For example, all your AC lines run down this side, and also where you come through into the front, you have you know, power steering lines and all that sort of stuff. So basically I've had to refit all of the AC lines. The radiator and the AC condenser are in. Some of the power steering lines, obviously I've had to remount the power steering fluid reservoir and the pumps on the motor with a couple of lines connected, just to make sure that I'm not building anything in the way. And obviously where the pipes sneak through into the front, you are going, you know, down in between the radiator and all that sort of stuff, and where there are also other lines and all that sort of thing. So you really have to be certain that you have absolutely everything in there that's going to be going in there before you start doing this, or at least work out ways that you can you know, shift stuff around a bit to be able to get it to sort of fit. You can see down here, this very bottom pipe, that's your air intake to the turbo there. So I've replaced the sort of flexi line. Not that this had those lines intact in any sort of particular manner. It was, you know, cobbled up out of bits and pieces. But yeah, so they've been replaced as well, all the way through down into the front. And even you can see here, I've even got this headlight in, just because there's an area behind the headlight here where the pipes sort of come through and sort of merge, where it gets very close to the headlight. Again, I want to make sure that I'm not going to interfere with the back of the headlight in any way, just so that when the final fit up comes, there's sort of no issues, you know. One thing that really surprised me, folks, was how heavy the existing 2-inch pipe that came out of the vehicle is. It's steel. It's a fairly heavy wall thickness. Mate, it is really heavy. All the piping that I'm replacing it with would be less than half the weight each piece, easily less than half the weight of this stuff, maybe even like a third of the weight. Really ridiculous in comparison. These things are so heavy, but yet so small. Currently I'm waiting on a few bits and pieces, folks. That's why I thought I'll turn the camera on and just sort of show you where I'm up to with this sort of stuff. I've run out of mandrel bends, and I'm also in a position now where I can work out exactly what I need as far as silicon joiners, you know, which angled ones I need, how much straight stuff I need, and all that sort of stuff. It's very hard to sort of calculate out before you begin. You sort of think, oh yeah, you know, I'll need this and I'll need that, but often things change the way you have to run the pipe. You're not always able to run them where you think they're going to go, and hence you're not always able to use the sort of joins and bends and everything that you think you're going to need. So you just got to suck it and see, folks. You just got to start doing what I've done there, just joining bits of stuff together with tape, and you know, next stage is get some tacks on it, check it again, and weld a few bits up, check it again, all that sort of stuff, until you get to a point where all of a sudden it's all done and you're all sort of good to go. Once this is all fully welded up and I have all the correct joiners and everything on everything so that it's all in position, I then have to do stuff like blow off valve locations, you know, put pipes in for that. I've also got to put some inlet and outlets on these pipes for things like boost reference and vacuum and all that sort of stuff. So there's lots of little bits and pieces to go on, and once they're done, but at this stage I'm getting there, folks. I'm roughing it all out, and so far it's looking pretty good. I'm definitely going to be able to do it, which is always a positive thing. So I'll turn the camera on when I get a little bit more done, folks, and we'll take another look at it. Well, folks, it's a great day. The mufflers have finally arrived. And in case you're curious, folks, these are Vibrant 1034s, 2.5 inch entry, 4.5 inch by 3 inch oval, angled, rounded tips, which in my personal opinion look absolutely perfect for the vehicle. They're quite a big muffler, so they should keep it nice and quiet. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's what she sort of looks like there. Very, very nice indeed. And I've already got one of them partially fitted up, so let's go and have a look. And there it is, folks. That's what one looks like sitting over there. I really like them, obviously, which is why I bought them. I know exhaust systems and like, you know, tailpipes and all that sort of stuff are a very, very personal thing with cars. I particularly chose these because I think they're quite different. You know, it's not a shape that you see very often on Z32s, and I think the oval shape, the big oval shape, really sort of matches well with the back of the vehicle when you look up over the boot and all that sort of stuff. You can't really see from here, but the car looks very oval from the back in this rear profile that you see when you're sort of standing at the back of the vehicle, and I think it's a really good match for it. So for me it was worth the wait to get these mufflers, because this is what I was chasing for quite a while. They're very low on stock in Australia, and they're very good quality muffler. Bit pricey, but still a really nice muffler, well worth it in my opinion. Okay, so you can see the set out here. I've got a string line running down the center of the vehicle that's measured exactly off both sides of the car, dead center. The muffler is set out off that line, so the mufflers sit dead straight. There's no guesswork in involving, you know, the angles that they're sitting on, like this sort of thing. They're also measured back to front this way off the rear cross member, so there's no issues with if the rear bar has got a little bit of a twist in it or anything like that, and you change bars and then it doesn't match up, sort of thing. Fortunately, this bar seems to be pretty good, because I've had the other muffler on there as well, and they both sit perfectly in line with the back of it, sort of thing, measured off the subframe, which is good. And then the mufflers are then sat dead level across the back of the vehicle that way. The body shell is mounted dead level on the hoist here, so I'm able to use levels, you know, like spirit levels, to gauge all sorts of stuff on the car when I'm setting it up. So that's how I've set it up, folks. I'm pretty happy with it. I like the look, I like the style, but I only have just enough space for it, which is, you know, I sort of knew I'd be in for this, but you know, it's the biggest muffler that I could fit in there. The 90 just fits on the back between the subframe. When I say just, I've probably got 15-20 mil off the rear subframe, off the rear steering arm and everything, just so there's no issues with sort of heat transfer, but it does just sort of fit. Another reason why I went down to 2.5 inch at the back of the car, just because I knew I was going to have an issue. There's no way I could have really fit a 3-inch bend in there. It just would have been too tight. Plus it would have made it drop down a little bit more, or have less clearance where you come through under the differential there and under the rear axles. At the moment the clearance is great, you know. So I'm about to get stuck into this side, folks. I will turn the camera on periodically, and when I get a little bit more done, I'll give you an update. And here it is right now. And there it is, folks, just like magic. So our second muffler and tailpipe section is just about set up. Let's go under and have a look. So you can see what's been going on here, folks. It's just a matter of supporting stuff. You can see I've got a little bit of, you know, a bit of aluminium box section taped up over the top of the muffler. That string line's probably right on the friggin' thing. There it is up there. It's running back onto some spaces and stuff to keep the muffler at the right height. You can see pipes have been cut, you know, on all the different angles, and I've used masking tape to keep it all together. I find masking tape is by far the best thing for doing this sort of stuff. I've tried all sorts of tape, all sorts of funky things that have been recommended, you know, here and there, and use this plastic tape and this tape, and mate, honestly, I always end up going back to masking tape. You just can't beat it, I reckon. So that's looking pretty good, I reckon. Pretty good. All the measurements check out and everything. I do have one adjustment to do up here. The angle's slightly wrong where we go into the muffler. It's you can probably see it from here. It's you know, it's a little bit down like this. So I've got to correct that. I've got a little note written on there because I'm about to pack it in for the night. Just for tomorrow to make sure I hit me line. Just make sure I correct that before I go tacking this together. So I'll get this off, I'll fix that, check it again. If it's right, I'll tack it together, then I'll refit it. And if it's okay again, then I'll fully weld up any joints that I can on the pipe, which will be that joint there and another joint in there. And then I will be able to just tack this joint in, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 places, and then I'll tack it on the back of the muffler as well. And then I'll have one piece from the muffler to this first V-band join right there. So that'll be the tailpipe section, will be you know, up to there. So then I'll take that to the bench and I'll fully weld it. I'll do both of them at the same time because the one over this side, that's the position it's in at the moment. These 2 joints fully welded. This one here is tacked, and the back of the muffler there is tacked as well, just so that I have a way out in case I've buggered something up. Once I get everything sort of, you know, once I get everything sort of sorted out and together, I always leave myself a way out, folks. You just have to be smart about these sort of things, like the best intentions, you know, measure, references, string lines, things like that. Sometimes, you know, the strangest things happen. So often you leave yourself a way out right at the end, so that if something does go astray, there is a possibility to fix it without having to undo everything, folks. Just, you know, a bit of common sense there. All right, I'll shut up. I'll get that sorted. I'll weld that up, and I'll give you another look. All right, see you in a second. And that's it, folks. We're all done. The only thing I don't have is stainless rod to make the hangers out of. But other than that, the whole exhaust system is now finally complete. Pretty happy with it. It all sort of turned out pretty good. It's what I wanted anyway, folks. So it's all that matters, really, isn't it? So let's go under and have a little bit of a closer look. So it turned out pretty good, folks. I'm pretty happy with all of my welding. It all sort of turned out, you know, pretty reasonable and everything. I think it's going to be a pretty good system. Should sound pretty sweet, I think, if my calculations are correct. All the mounts were replated when I did sort of the last batch of plating. I have all new urethane rubbers for the exhaust hangers, but as I say, all I need is some stainless rod now, because she's just temporarily held up with some bloody Bunnings straps. That's one more thing off the list. And as soon as all my mandrel bends turn up, folks, we can keep going with the bloody intercooler piping, which I apologise for diverting to this. It's like, what am I going to do, you know? And then all of a sudden, the muffler's turned up. So that's why the muffler's got inserted in here, folks. But in just a second, we'll be back onto the intercooler piping. So I'll see you back up the front. Whoa, mandrel bends. I love mandrel bends. Mandrel bends are in, folks. And I've already finished the intercooler piping, so let's go and have a look. So all the piping's now complete, folks. It's all fully welded. All the little brackets are on and stuff. See, there's brackets tying it all back to the engine and all that sort of thing. It's all very secure. There's quite a lot of bracketry that I've done to it. All the correct silicone joiners are now here. When I was mocking it up, I was using offcuts from joiners, and I do keep a lot of the old offcuts from the silicone joiners and things just because I find them really helpful. Piecing stuff together to just hold pipes randomly together, you know, so that you can later on work out exactly what joiners you need and all that sort of stuff. But the right stuff's all on there now, so that's fantastic. So the only thing that's left to do on these is there's a little bit of pipe work that's still needed on the intake side, which is just basically just where the air cleaners come out, folks, I've got to, you can see there's a bit of a bracket under the headlight and a bit of pipe. I've just got to bring that out and mount the air cleaners in the front there, but I'll do that. I don't know, I might do it sooner, I might do it later. But we'll see. My air cleaners actually came in today. I've got a couple of really big K&N filters I'm going to put on it. So I might even do it a little bit sooner, depending, because as you guys are probably aware, you know, always waiting for stuff at the moment. With bloody COVID and everything, like it's really, really hard to get a consistent run at anything without having sort of huge hold-ups. So I've got all sorts of stuff on the way, and you know, half done things and half shot videos and things, just like this video has been shot over a few weeks, again just because I can't get everything that I need here all at once. And as a bit of a teaser, folks, you can see a bit more stuff's been done on the engine there. The BDE top feed fuel rails are in. You can see the fuel pressure regulator over there, but that's going to be coming up in next week's video, folks. Also finished all the remaining hangers and mounts and everything for the exhaust system. And the exhaust system is now completely done. So let's just whip around the back of the car and have a quick look at that. And there's the mufflers, folks, hanging there under their own steam, no longer suspended by Bunnings pull straps. I'll quickly pop it up in the air and we'll have a little bit of a closer look at what I've done. And that is the entire exhaust system now done, folks. And it's also, sadly, the end of the video. So I hope you liked the video, folks. So it was a bit of a mashup of tailpipe exhaust and intercooler piping. Unfortunately, due to shipping hold-ups and stuff, not being able to do everything all sort of in one go. But anyway, folks, I hope you like the work that I'm doing on the Fairlady, and there's plenty more to come. And next week, I think I'll be doing the BDE fuel rails video. So stay tuned for that. As always, folks, I'll bloody well see you on the next one. Cheers.